This is a quick video for film on its impact in the business practices in early filmmaking. So first of all, this is the first medium that we've studied so far out of newspapers, books, and magazines, now we're at film, that starts with the masses. It doesn't begin with the elite and then somehow become something for the masses. It begins with the masses. And we have a lot of immigration going on in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And those immigrants could participate. They could be sitting, side by side with a native English speaker at these silent films and participating. So it was really a cultural unifier in that way, and something that was really for the masses from the very beginning. And it was also, not expensive. So let's talk about venues for watching film. In the late 1800s, we get the kinetoscope, and it's one of those devices. You can see them at Disneyland's Penny Arcade, where you stick your head in and you see a bunch of pictures, and you get film. And by the late 1800s, these are everywhere. They're in vaudeville halls. They're just everywhere, and a lot of people can, use these. But that's not the experience of viewing a film together. So Nickelodeons were the first thing that did that. So can you guess how much it cost to go to see a film if it was done as a Nickelodeon? A nickel, right? So these were just basically movie houses that were just thrown up anywhere, and it could be a storefront, and they would just run continuously, like from noon to 12, and just show the films over and over again, set up a bunch of chairs, and that became huge. So for example, by 1900s by 1900 in New York City, there were 600 Nickelodeons, just dotted around the city. So film became popular really fast. And then later in the 1914s to the 1920s, we start to see movie palaces. So it's this movement to try to get filmmaking or film viewing, not just for kind of the masses, but for an experience for a more upscale experience, but an upscale experience that could be enjoyed by everyone. So all of these palaces were built, and they've been since dismantled, and now we have all of these, multiplex film places that we go to now. But there's still a few around the city. The Castro is a great one in San Francisco, and they were really designed to make you feel like you were going to the opera. They have the velvet curtains that shut, very ornate setting. Back then they'd have smoking rooms for the men, and they'd have art galleries, and they'd have ushers come in and seat you and bring you into your seat. And at this time, the concession stand, there was none. That was, if there was food sold, it was sold outside of the movie palace. If you get a chance, go to the Castro. You'll see the organist play. It's really a throwback experience to this that's really, really lovely. Okay, other things about the early movie industry. So we get the Motion Picture Patents Company. This is Thomas Edison, and in 1908 he takes all the patents from different things that have been invented that are necessary for equipment for filmmaking, and he forms the trust. So he gets all the patent holders, and they basically put a lockdown. That's Black Maria, his studio right over here, and they put a lockdown on filmmaking. Basically, he gets these companies together, and they're very restrictive. They want the movies to be set on one movie reel, film, 12 minutes max, a stage perspective. So as if you're looking at a play and training a camera on it. That's what he wanted. He didn't want creativity for some reason. And of course, people get really defiant, and they head down to Florida, and they also head over to California. And the thing about California, Southern California, is there's great weather, so they don't have to rely on that. It's just more reliable for shooting, and there's cheap land, and it's close to Mexico. If the law comes after them, they can just jump right over to Mexico, and it's far away from New Jersey and from the patent holders, that form the trust. Later, this is this whole filmmaking that starts to happen in Europe, because remember, we have a lot of filmmaking going on in France and stuff. That the kibosh is put on that because of World War II. So the U.S. kind of flourishes with this because we're not as the war isn't on our physical land, and we get this California movie industry really flourish. And by the way, by 1917, and by some books that I've read, 1915, the trust is gone. It's ruled an illegal monopoly. They aren't allowed to have such a lockdown on filmmaking. So also, we're going to get talkies. We're going to get talkies in the mid 1920s. So the dates differ on whether, full sound, whether you want to say full sound or a couple of words or some music, but somewhere between 26, 27, 28, we've got talkies. And this, of course, brings new genres, one of them being the musical, right? And it also means that you're going to have better acting rather than being able to just, do really big movements and have that be the acting. Now you have to have things that are a little bit more refined and sophisticated acting now that you've got words. And by the way, a lot of people, they were kind of booted out of, they couldn't cut it with the new sound movies, because I don't know if you guys remember that MTV's very first video was Video Killed the Radio Star. So some of those movie actors had voices like this that you didn't know about because it was silent film. Some of them flourished, but some of them couldn't make it in the new talkies. And then also, production's more complicated. Now you have to match sound with the visuals, and just it becomes more expensive and complicated a process. Now in the Depression, so movies are flourishing, and then we get to the Depression, and movie attendance drops by 1/3, but the industry survives because of two things. It survives because of additional new genres. So you get additional genres that really bring people back into the theater at a time when they're down and they want escapism. And then you get vertical integration. So you get this idea of the movie industry putting basically another lockdown. They're going to have they're going to do the producing of the film, the distributing of the film, and the exhibiting of the film. So all of that helped them save money, and they did block booking and B movies along with, B level movies along with top level movies, and they could show them in their own theaters, so they could lock out the competition with that. And also, by the way, this other things would happen during to get moviegoers back into the theaters during the Depression. They would do things like offer groceries to the first 100 people who came in, or they would, every week you could go pay for your ticket for the film and then get a piece of what is now called Depression glass, and I'll try to bring some in, I'm not sure I'll remember. And you could build up a set of dishes. So things like that to get people in. And then also the concession stand, that's how they also were able to continue to make money as an industry. Okay, that's it.